Hey, American contractors, viewers of the American Contractor Show. I'm here with John Dye at Win the Storm, and I have to tell you, anyone that is associated with American Contractor Show, you are a badass.
Big shout out to American Contractor Show. If you don't know, you definitely need to check out the Storm Summit. They're doing it in excellence. Check them out.
Hey, what's up? This is your friend, Francisco Serrano. If you haven't checked it out, American Contractor Show, YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms, you need to go them, like them, start learning about your craft.
Hey, I'm Matt Danskin with Restoration Referral System. Check out the American Contractor Show. The truck that they've got is awesome. Everything else that they have going on.
This is Larry Bache with the Northern Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Northern Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
C3 was eager to help us, and even whenever we weren't giving them work, they were still eager to give advice. The things that they were putting out for the changing from DMO to RFG and giving that to the industry and not charging anything for it, I thought was really cool. And that's stuff that I as a contractor appreciate. I'd recommend C3 to any contractor who's looking for a PA, especially if you're around Colorado. Great guys, man. I'm nothing but happy with the work they've done for us.
Happy Father's Day, everyone. Lead meteorologist John Choquette here for our special Sunday hail forecast. A little early, not at noon today. Looks like there could be some storms a little earlier, so we're trying to get this out sooner than later. We're going to jump right into it here. Looks like we could see some major hail today, somewhere between Iowa, Illinois, maybe even up into Minnesota. Stage is set for somebody to get some really big hail this afternoon. The biggest thing that's going to cause the complications is there is some morning rain and cloudiness across Iowa right now that has led some uncertainty for exactly where the hail is going to be, how big it's going to get, and all that great stuff. So the forecast is a little muddled, and we'll kind of break down what could possibly happen here for this afternoon. And finally, we are going to check in on Tropical Storm or Tropical Depression Claudette as she continues to roll across the southeast and will push off the coast, I think, tonight. So before we get into that, we do have upcoming events as we've been advertising for a while here. The Burgers and Bikes event in Moore, Oklahoma. That's going to be on the 25th as this upcoming week here. This is a membership drive for Orca. You can come sign up. You get free food. The radio station is going to be there. See some cool bikes. You're going to come see us. And I believe you'll get $50 off your membership fees if you sign up for Orca there in this event. It's great for a lot of folks I know working at Norman Storm. It's just a few minutes up the road from where all that big hail was in Norman. We also have coming up here the 2021 FRSA Convention and Expo. It's going to be in Kissimmee, Florida, which is the Orlando area. It's going to be on July 21st to July 23rd. A lot of trade shows happening in the summer and fall this year due to all the so we'll be at this one at the Gaylord Palms Resort and Convention Center. Come check us out in sunny Florida here in mid-July. And finally, we're going to mention yet again, the link is in that description below, the Thunder Road Race for Recovery event. This is Roofers and Recovery's charity event that we are in on September 15th, 2021. You guys want to do some go-kart racing. These things go up to about 55 miles an hour. If you sign up to race, you're guaranteed at least 2 races and some great bragging rights and cash prizes if you do end up being a better racer than everybody else. Link below that will have sign up for whether you want to come and race or if you want to sponsor or both. So go check it out and follow the instructions when you go to the page. So what happened yesterday? Well, we had a bunch of storms, but nothing too significant in terms of hail. Looks like the hail threat kind of busted a little bit yesterday. Weird setup, and ended up having only a couple storms. This one here in southern Michigan had up to 4-inch hail with it out of kind of nowhere for a brief period of time. We had some quarters down by St. Louis, and otherwise it was primarily a wind event. I think the most hail actually ended up happening in Maine, and the biggest thing that happened yesterday was a pretty intense squall line of wind moving across sections of Kansas and Nebraska. That happened late evening, overnight hours here, and of course it ended up making no hail in Denver. So what did we bring us for those storm report totals so far? See, we only had 27 more hail reports yesterday, 152 wind reports, 13 tornadoes, primarily in Colorado. That brings us to 3389 for our hail report so far this year, and you know, we're still running about 700 behind from about 2020 this time. I think we could see quite a bit more hail today, and that could really add to those numbers. So we're looking at those current conditions now. What exactly is the complicating factors for the storms today? And I'm zooming in on it right here. Look at all this rain and cloudiness. It's moving quick across Iowa, which is good. Want storms to happen. You need the sunshine back to the west of Des Moines there to have that recovery, to have big storms come through. However, this is still moving through the prime risk area. And that's caused a couple questions for later on this afternoon, and especially this activity down south by Kansas City here, that is not been in on any of the forecast models, and that could also be another fly in the ointment for this afternoon. Again, we're likely to see some storms, but in terms of how it looked compared to this time yesterday, not as crazy, but still definitely potential there. And then also check in, here's Tropical Depression Claudette, pretty much centered almost exactly over Atlanta, and this is going to continue to move to the northeast and will likely pop off the coast tonight. Temperatures across the country, again, pretty. We're here, it's the first day of summer is tomorrow, and it's finally feeling like summer across the majority of the country. So again, moisture, warmth, all that stuff is not a problem for severe weather. It's more just the smaller scale details like it usually is here in June. So that future radar looks like the most recent run here, this just loaded up, seems to have actually, you just saw it update a second ago. Looks like it has a better handle of what's happening at the moment. So let's kind of run through it together, see what we're expecting here. As we push about 2 o'clock, we actually have some storms up by Minneapolis. You guys could see some pretty solid hail there as well. Pushing forward here to all this activity here by Minneapolis, and now all these storms popping off in Iowa. These will be the big time hail makers. They could have very large hail with it up to tennis ball size. And then pushing forward about 5 o'clock, we'll have to keep an eye on this. This is pretty new. This actually brings Minneapolis more into the risk than what we were looking at even just a few minutes ago. And there we go, about 6 o'clock, there's storms firing up pretty much on top of Chicago there, and even down by Indianapolis, where I'm sure a lot of folks have descended upon Indianapolis from the storms on Friday, so you can see some more storms here. And then by 7:30, yeah, look at that, man, we got stuff in Indiana, and a lot of activity here into, it's actually looking a little bit more robust, a little more promising than some of the earlier mornings. So I think the issue may have for any sort of activity that has really brought down the available instability across Iowa may be not that big of a deal. It's weakening, it's moving out pretty quickly. Picking up on the fact that we have some pretty intense storms later on this evening, and also by 7:30 there will be storms trying to form. And and once we get to about 8 o'clock, looks like everything's going to be getting close to Davenport, moving through Cedar Rapids. Some storms possibly off to the south and west of Madison, Wisconsin there, and more isolated storms trying to form near Chicago. So you can see multiple rounds of storms today, especially in northern Illinois. And then by 9 p.m., looks like things may start to try to turn into a bit of a line of storms. We'll have storms having already moved through Kansas City by then. And yes, by about 10:30, we will have likely less of a hail threat, more of a strong wind threat across the Chicagoland area. Notice we have much more of a line of storms racing off to the east here, along with some potential storms in sections of Indiana and even into Ohio and Michigan. And then we push even further, and then this thing races off to the east by day tomorrow. Again, I was looking at that for the first time right now. The model updated, and then right as I was putting the video together, and it all automatically loads, so we get to kind of find out together what we're expecting. We have here in Denver for this evening, this is a pretty low risk across the Front Range. This is basically, it's June, and Denver's more or less perpetually at risk when the conditions are we are foreseeable future here. Could see a couple storms after about 8 p.m. or so, but notice there's a lot of rain here across the I-25 corridor, so I think that's really going to keep things pretty minimal across the Denver area today. So I had already mentioned it, forecast max hail size for the biggest storms today is going to probably be about tennis ball, maybe up to baseball size hail, and that should primarily be focused in the red swath that I have here. So eastern sections of Iowa, parts of Minnesota, but we just saw the way that forecast model updated. It could possibly make it all the way up to Minneapolis, and then I bring it right to the edge, right by like Aurora, Illinois, and areas like that, probably to the west. Schaumburg points west if you're in the Chicagoland area. I think that's your best bet for that big time hail. And that's pretty common for Chicago. You have Lake Michigan being a pretty good shield for the really big hail for most instances across Chicago. So you could see some hail upwards, maybe 2 inches in the Chicago area, and that big hail could extend to just to the east of Kansas City. Breaking down the risks by city, Minneapolis, I have low chance. That could be low moderate chance now based on what we're kind of seeing updating. Moderate for Davenport, Chicago, possibly high somewhere in here. Lower for Des Moines, you guys saw everything kind of stayed east of Des Moines for the most part. I have a low for Madison just because there could be a little too much rain from the showers and storms moving through right now. And pushing off down to the south, low chance Kansas City. This could be low moderate. My only concern for Kansas City is too many storms firing up. This is actually going to be a cold front pushing off to the south and to the east, which could have too many storms go up and minimize that hail potential. So you guys are staying low there. Low for Wichita. A storm or two may make it all the way down to the Wichita area, but probably unlikely. And also St. Louis, you have a low chance that a rogue storm could get over to you guys as well. And finally off to the east, once we get past the Chicagoland area, the storms as we move towards Michigan and into Indiana could have some bigger hail. We're more isolated, just how I think coverage is going to be pretty low. So we got that low chance from Fort Wayne to Detroit and also down by Indianapolis as well. And finally, we can't forget about Denver. Got a low chance for maybe some $quarter to $half size hail up and down the Front Range, about Pueblo up to Wheatland, Wyoming. So we'll be keeping an eye on all of this as always. Here's that city forecast for Chicago specifically. Notice the wide time frame. You guys saw that in the future radar just a moment ago, where we had possibility of storms all the way from about 5 o'clock throughout midnight here. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. I think the maximum hail size overall across the entire Chicagoland area could be about 2 inches, but further to the west of Chicago itself could see that bigger hail upwards to that tennis ball, maybe even baseball size, that we have isolated storms in the area. Moderate chance of at least quarters somewhere in the Chicagoland area, and I say overall low chance of that bigger hail because there is that uncertainty in place across the Chicago area. We also have Denver in here, 9 to 11 p.m. It's going to be a late night one. Low chances across the board. I kind of position myself where you can see low for max hail size up to maybe $half, and low chances and very, very almost non-existent chances across Denver for up to that golf ball size hail. So other cities at risk, since I can't cover them, we have Davenport, probably is going to be the highest risk in general, that moderately high chance. Chicago a little bit less. Again, Lake Michigan's pretty good at protecting the city itself from really big hail. Minneapolis, I think, could end up being close to Chicago if we see we'll keep an eye this afternoon if the trends maintain what we just saw on the radar there. Minneapolis may have a better chance of seeing hail, about the same as Chicago. Kansas City, moderately low. Madison, moderately low. And then Denver there at the bottom, a low chance of storms, but not impossible. Denver's had hail even with no risk before. So, and that'd definitely be the trend for 2021 as well. So that's what we're looking at for severe weather for today. We're also going to check in on Tropical Storm Claudette, which is now Tropical Depression Claudette, with winds about 30 miles an hour. She will be moving off the coast by tomorrow morning at 8 p.m. 30 miles an hour, not a huge deal in terms of sustained winds, much more maybe a spin-up tornado and heavy rains. By 8 p.m. Monday evening, it'll be south of Long Island with a tropical storm yet again, and she'll race up the Canadian Maritimes. Tuesday, no big deal after that, and I think things will be quiet for at least the next 4 or 5 days before we see the next tropical system here in the continental U.S. So that's all I got for you guys today. Of course, if anything does fire up, we get big time storms, Chicago, Minneapolis, wherever it may be in the Great Lakes region, we'll come back up here. We'll be live, do that continuing coverage for you guys, especially here for that Father's Day. We will be doing any kind of coverage. Follow us on all our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everything else in our Linktree app, the TikTok, LinkedIn, all that stuff. Follow us at HailTrace, real easy. Set up whatever notification you have to be notified for when we do go live on Facebook, whether you hit the bell and subscribe on YouTube. Just get notifications from the HailTrace app itself. You can give us a call, 855-334-4245, and comments, questions, or concerns. Or if you have more questions about that forecast, we can always talk to you through info@hailtrace.com or visit a website for more details, or the link below bring you to more details about what we have to offer. Hope you guys have a great Father's Day. We'll be back later, hopefully, if Details Hail Dance is good enough for some live coverage. If not, we'll see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. like we do every day. Have a great afternoon, everyone.